Perhaps US Special Envoy Stephen Witkoff misspoke, but if that was the reason for starting the aggression, then it raises a lot of questions. The main reason given for the aggressive attack on Iran was the belief that Iran is creating a nuclear bomb, although seemingly in June the United States announced after the 12-day war that all the bomb components and work had been destroyed. This action, this war now initiated against Iran, first, could spur a movement toward developing nuclear weapons, not only in Iran. Regarding Iran, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, in response to a question from a correspondent recently, mentioned a scenario in which the United States would govern Iran. Just as they announced they would govern Venezuela, they are now applying a similar scheme to Cuba as well. And probably, this is not the end. Palestine, of course, is part of Trump's plan, which the Arab countries have expressed readiness to support. We in China in the Security Council did not object. But this plan also does not envision implementing the UN resolutions on creating two states, Israel and Palestine. The State of Israel is created and acts quite actively, as you can see, while a Palestinian state does not exist, and every day the theoretical possibility of its creation evaporates, because 90% of the land on the West Bank is occupied by illegal settlements, and everything in the Gaza Strip is destroyed, and any plans are discussed besides allowing Palestinians to be the masters there. We have actively supported Oman's mediation efforts. I remain in contact with my good friend, the Foreign Minister of Oman, who participated in this Geneva procedure of indirect negotiations between the United States and Iran, and who, as recently as last Friday, just like Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, gave a very positive assessment following another round of these Geneva negotiations. At least, he optimistically spoke about how this latest round ended and said there's only a little bit left. Everyone hinted that there would be another contact, which could be final. Regarding the inalienable right to enrich uranium as a principle applicable to all countries without exception that are parties to the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, nobody ever disputed this. And we always played a mediating role in this, and Israel approached us, as Russian President Vladimir Putin mentioned more than once, and Iranian colleagues approached and visited us. We always started from the position that political and diplomatic resolution should be sought from recognizing legitimate rights, inalienable rights in accordance with international law of each state, including certainly Iran. And the right for Iran to enrich for peaceful nuclear energy use is inalienable. And by the way, it was not disputed in that very same Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action on resolving the Iranian nuclear program. The right was never disputed. It is enshrined in the UN Charter, the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, and the principles of the IAEA. There were agreed limitations of this right within it. And exactly the same approach, we are convinced, should have been applied in this case. We proposed several options for such a solution, personally addressed by President Putin, and all our colleagues in Israel, the United States, Iran, and the Arab states of the Gulf are all aware of the efforts we have made. But to say that Iran should be the only country in the world to renounce this right, which belongs to all other states, may not be very realistic. Perhaps US Special Envoy Stephen Witkoff misspoke, but if that was the reason for starting the aggression, then it raises a lot of questions. The Gulf Arab states publicly stated that they will not be part of this adventure, will not provide their airspace for strikes on Iran and will not allow foreign military bases on their territory for these purposes. So, of course, we understand their feelings and will seek to use our connections with the Islamic Republic of Iran to ensure this problem does not worsen and to see it resolve. To meaningfully mediate the conflict, it requires some clear understanding of the directions the parties are moving. But so far, we do not see such clarity concerning our American colleagues' goals. But under all circumstances, we are open to dialogue with them and with Israel. We never broke this dialogue. We believe any concerns raised both by Israeli partners and the United States can and should be resolved politically and diplomatically. It seemed we were very close, that the sides were very close to a decision. The main reason given for the aggressive attack on Iran was the belief that Iran is creating a nuclear bomb, although seemingly in June the United States announced after the 12-day war that all the bomb components and work had been destroyed. But if the war, as I quoted Stephen Witkoff, started because Iran refused any schemes depriving it of the inalienable right to enrich uranium for peaceful purposes, a right that all other states have, and if this logic is now pursued, then I guarantee you that forces will appear in Iran, influential movements advocating doing exactly what the US wants to avoid, acquiring and building a nuclear bomb, because the US does not strike those with nuclear bombs. This action, this war now initiated against Iran, first, could spur a movement toward developing nuclear weapons, not only in Iran. Such a movement will immediately appear in Arab countries neighboring the Islamic Republic of Iran. Now the risk is growing that the nuclear proliferation problem might spiral out of control. We will continue to defend the principles of nuclear non-proliferation, insist against actions that might undermine these principles and provoke a nuclear arms race. In this regard, remember once again the initiative introduced by the President several years ago but disrupted by the COVID pandemic, the initiative for a summit of the permanent UN Security Council members. The situation is becoming too serious to keep postponing this initiative indefinitely. Brunei has issued the statement that we strongly condemn the preemptive strike on Iran, I think, on February 28. It's a situation that has resulted in retaliatory responses from Iran to its neighboring Arab countries, Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates and Oman. It's just deeply saddening to see this current event happening during the month of Ramadan for the Muslims. Brunei can only state that we strongly urge and encourage the upholding international law, particularly the principles of the UN Charter in terms of respect for territorial integrity and sovereignty, and to use the dialogue and diplomacy for regional peace and stability.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that we will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest newsmakers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.